What's up guys, RGT85 here, and today I have a story for you that's really confusing to me. I know you're looking at the title of this, and you're looking at the thumbnail of this, and you're saying, what the hell is RGT85 talking about? But yes, this is a real story. This was brought to my attention by my buddy Rewind Mike. Make sure you guys go check out his channel. We did a video on Red Dead Revolver a couple weeks ago, and he wanted me to talk about this because it's just so bizarre. And I had seen this story floating around the internet, but I didn't really look into it to see what games were being picked up in this acquisition. But a company called Liquid Media Group has just bought the rights to 65 classic titles, and most of them are from Acclaim. But when you start looking at some of the things that go on within Liquid Media Group, who's involved in Liquid Media Group, what they've done before, and what these games are, I'm just really confused as to why this is a thing. But I wanted to talk about it with you guys. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about Dawson's Creek guy.
Hey, RGT85. Hey, Sean.
Oh my God, it's Stevie Richards! So you're probably asking yourself, who is the Liquid Media Group? Why haven't I ever heard of this before, and why should I hear about it now? Well, evidently it's a company that sort of has something lined up for retro gaming and things like the retro gaming licenses and games that we are familiar with. They evidently purchased all of the rights to Majesco earlier this year, back in about January of 2018. And with Majesco, you know, they published a ton of awesome games. They actually have a pretty good catalog. Some of the games that come to mind are games like Blood Rain, Nanostray, which I talked about in my Nintendo DS Hidden Gems video, A Boy and His Blob for the Wii, Cooking Mama was a big franchise that Majesco had. So for some reason, this company is starting to stockpile different licenses. And they recently approached a company called Throwback Entertainment, who had some Acclaim licenses since 2006 and wasn't doing anything with them, and offered to buy these 65 licenses for these games to put under their umbrella. And it's pretty curious to see them doing this. They might be gearing up for something going on forward with retro gaming. Obviously, you're seeing a lot of success in the retro gaming market right now with things like the NES and the SNES Classic doing very well. Things like the Sega Genesis Collection selling well on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and now coming to other platforms. All of the buzz going on around about the PlayStation Classic. So retro gaming is alive and well, and people are identifying with old brands and, most importantly, old games from their childhood. Now, what's really interesting about the Liquid Media Group, though, is who is one of the chair people for this group, and it's Joshua Jackson. Now, that name may sound familiar to you because he was one of the main guys on Dawson's Creek. Now, I never watched Dawson's Creek or anything like that. I know it was a huge show in the 90s, and like people were really into that show. But yes, Joshua Jackson from Dawson's Creek fame is one of the brainchilds behind this company, and he actually released a statement talking about the throwback purchase that they have just acquired. So many people, myself included, are returning to the classics. The nostalgia brought on by this resurgence in retro games connects us to our childhood and creates incredible demand. So evidently, I don't think they're buying these licenses and game companies and the rights to these things just to have them sitting around, because evidently they're wanting to do something with this. When you purchase a company like Majesco, which has a lot of published games out there that you have access to, I mean, the laundry list for Majesco is pretty long. I'll put up a screenshot of all of the games that they published according to Wikipedia. Like, there's a lot of games on here, and even games that you might remember like Psychonauts and Advent Rising, and of course Cooking Mama, like I said. But obviously they're gearing up to do something with this. So the guy from Dawson's Creek is buying up a bunch of retro game licenses, but what is he planning to do with these games? Well, the full list of games that they have acquired has been revealed, and now I'm just more confused than I was before. So I know what you're saying to yourself, RGT85, I don't want to wait for my life to be over. I want to know right now the list of games. Well, I'm going to tell you the list of games, and you're just going to be as confused as I am. Alright, so let's go over the list of games now, and let me tell you, you're going to be freaking confused. Advanced Dungeons & Dragons, Iron and Blood. AFL Live 2003. AFL Live Premiership Edition, AFL Sim 2004, AFL Sim 2004 International Edition, All-Star Baseball 2000, All-Star Baseball 2001, All-Star Baseball 2002, All-Star Baseball 2003, All-Star Baseball 2004, All-Star Baseball 2005, All-Star Baseball 2006, All-Star Baseball 97 and 99 as well. You have Ants Racing, you have Battle Monsters, Bigfoot, Big Hurt Baseball, Blast Lacrosse, Brain Drain, Bubble Bobble, Bust-A-Move 99, Bust-A-Move 2, Bust-A-Move 4, Bust-A-Move Millennium, College Slam, Cutthroat Island, Cybernoid, Darius Gaiden, Dirt Track FX, Dragonheart, Fire and Steel, Ducati World Racing, Foreman for Real, Foreman's KO Boxing, Frank Thomas Big Hurt Baseball, Galactic Attack, George Foreman KO Boxing, Impact Racing, Jupiter Strike, Killing Zone, Quirk, Magic the Gathering Battle Mage, NBA Jam 99, NBA Jam 2000, NBA Jam 2001, NBA Jam 2002, NBA Jam Extreme, NFL Quarterback Club, NFL Quarterback Club 96, 97, 98, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, NFL Club Quarterback Club Challenge, NHL Breakaway 98 and 99, Street Fighter the Movie, Striker 96, Super Bust-A-Move, Tee Off, Virtual Tennis, Virtual Open Tennis, and Wectrix. What? What is this list of games? Are you people crazy? Like, what are you going to do with NFL Quarterback Club 97? Like, EA owns the NFL license nowadays, so you can't really do anything with any of those NFL Quarterback Club games that you have. Same thing with something like All-Star Baseball. Who's going to want to play All-Star Baseball 97? Like, maybe you loved watching baseball back in 1997, but you can't have the licenses of these people in the game. Something like Street Fighter the Movie? Like, are you going to pay Jean-Claude Van Damme to use his likeness in the game? Like, this is just crazy. When you actually look at the list of games and you sort of break it down and you look at the games that they can actually do something with, there's really not that much. You might look at something like Bubble Bobble and say, well, isn't that a Taito game? And you would be correct in that. But since Acclaim published one of the Taito games, they can actually have access to that game. And that's how they have a few interesting games. Things like Bust-A-Move on here. You know, Darius Gaiden was published by Acclaim on the Sega Saturn. An excellent game, by the way. But, like, there's just so much fluff in here. And there's really not a whole lot to do with anything as far as re-releasing these games. You're going to re-release College Slam? Like, was that a big hit? That game was absolutely terrible. It was NBA Jam with not real players. Like, I don't know, man. Just looking at this list of games, I'm kind of curious as to why. What they saw on this list that made them say, you know what, we need to purchase these 65 games. Did Throwback just sort of throw in all these extra games and be like, oh, you want one? Well, you got to buy these other 64 or something like that? Because just looking over this list of games, there's really nothing you can do with this. There's nothing you can really reissue with this. Maybe you can outsource a couple of these things to something like a Retrobit arcade system that we've seen them coming out with, you know, over the years. And AT Games, of course, is releasing a bunch of new systems. Maybe you can license some of these games to those platforms, but most of these games are just pointless because there's movie tie-in licenses, there's things that you can't do, there's NFL licenses, there's MLB licenses, there's NBA licenses. So I don't know what Mr. Dawson's Creek is doing. If he releases a system though, like a plug-and-play system with all of these games on it, I would laugh very hard. And actually, there's one more interesting component to this that makes everything even crazier because of the licensing of some of these things. Now, obviously, Liquid Media Group has purchased a lot of Acclaim games, but can they use the Acclaim name? The answer is no, because they did not purchase the Acclaim license. The Acclaim license is currently owned by Collector Vision Games, and they have been doing different things in different sorts of media and different sorts of, you know, t-shirts and stuff like that. They own the rights to both Acclaim and Iguana Entertainment, and Iguana Entertainment made a lot of these games, and Acclaim published a lot of these games. So even if you do something with all of these games, you can't even really mention Acclaim unless you are willing to give Collector Vision Games some money to utilize that trademark. So you have a bunch of Acclaim games, but you can't use the Acclaim name. You have a bunch of Acclaim games, but you can't really use most of them because they're old sports titles, and you would have to get licensing and things like that. And then you have a bunch of Acclaim games, and most of these games are of very little interest to anyone. So why did Mr. Dawson's Creek actually pick up all of these licenses? Why did they pick up all these games? I really don't know. Like, none of this really makes sense to me. Even if they wanted to do something with it, they would have to jump through so many hoops and so many different things to do anything with all of these Acclaim games, or even a handful of them, that wouldn't really be worth the time and effort. Obviously, though, Liquid Media Group is planning on doing something. I don't think they would have purchased all of this stuff if they just planned to sit on it, so it'll be very interesting to see what ends up happening with this. But I just wanted to bring this story to your guys' attention because there's so many different working elements in it. It's so bizarre bizarre, it makes no sense to me, that I thought maybe it would be funny to talk about with you guys. So let me know what you think of this acquisition in the comments section down below, and why you think the Liquid Media Group is actually doing something, and what they could be potentially doing. Because honestly, I can't really figure out what they would be doing with all of these games and all of these licenses if there's really nothing that they can do legally. And of course, thank you for checking out this video. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. I'm also doing a $100 eShop gift card giveaway right now, so look for that in the pinned comment section in the comments down below. And as always, I will catch you guys on the next video. Later.